Hi, it's Marguerite McNair. It's time to squeal again. My husband, Thurman McNair Sr., on the 3rd of May, 2022, married a foreigner. He married her in the Bronx. The reason he married her in the Bronx is because that's where the cult leaders are in charge of the offices in order to have that go through. And in order for that foreigner to be able to come over here and to become a citizen, with all the cult members strategically placed in the right place, with all the cult members placed in the correct place, they can get people that's already married to somebody else to marry a foreigner and make them a citizen. And that's what my husband did. He needed some more money, so he married a foreigner. Now he's catching hell trying to divorce her. That's not the side chick now. That's somebody different. Okay? And the way the Lord showed me it was when I got ready to leave my husband when he had tried to poison me and didn't succeed. I started turning off items in the house. The electric bill, the water bill, the cell phone bill, because I was pretty much paying for everything. So I turned all that stuff off. As I turned it off, he had to turn it back on. So when I turned his cell phone off, which I was paying for, I turned his cell phone off because I wasn't going to pay the cell phone bill anymore. So he went and got another cell phone. And the cell phone I paid for, he threw it in his nightstand because it wasn't active. Because I had paid for that cell phone, I took it out of his nightstand and took it with me when I moved. Well, when I moved, I got internet. So therefore, I could turn on his old cell phone and I had full access to his Facebook page. So I started looking through his Facebook page, and on his Facebook page it said, I got married today. And the date was 3 May 2022. And I was shocked because I'm like, he married me in 2001 and we still married. How he married somebody in 2022 when he was still with me? Well, how he married her was they had to go to New York to do the marriage. And because all the cult members are in place in New York, it was pretty easy to marry her and come on back home. So that's what he did. He married her. And then he was dumb enough to put it on his Facebook page. And he figured he had me blocked, so I'd never see it. But when he threw his cell phone in that nightstand, he didn't realize that I was going to get it. And I'd be able to look at his Facebook page and see what he had done. After I looked at his Facebook page, then that's when I started asking the Lord questions. And then that's when the Lord revealed to me, yes, he had got married. And I already knew the date because I had seen it on his Facebook page. He had gotten married for money. He's a hustler. Like I told y'all, I was married to him for 24 years, and I had no idea he was a drug dealer, that he was sex trafficking, that he was meeting people in bathrooms, having sex with them. All this is new to me. And sometimes I wonder, why did he ever marry me? He know how straight-laced I am. I guess I was his cover. And he was running to the church every time the church doors open. So I was his cover. He married me. So if anybody suspected anything of him as straight-laced as I am, they wouldn't have believed that he was doing any of that stuff. Let me tell you how straight-laced I am. I was a mail carrier in Gulfport for 23 years. And one year, I started receiving income tax checks, and the address was to vacant houses. Now, mind you, I had been on that route for 20-something years. I know had nobody lived in them houses for over 20-something years, so why would income tax checks be going to vacant houses? So my spidey senses went up. And I asked the next door neighbor, I told her, I'm going to put a check in this mailbox. I want you to see who get it out. And the next day, let me know. So I did. The next day when I got to to her house to deliver her mail, she runs out and tells me that it was the tax preparer that was on my route that was getting those checks out the mailbox. So I put 2 and 2 together, and it ended up being 4. So I went to my postmaster and told her what I had did and told her about all the checks that was going to this vacant house. So she called in the alphabet men, the post office alphabet men, and they came and interviewed me. And I told them everything I had did and what the neighbor had asked to watch the mailbox said. And they told me that this is done a lot, where these income tax places pop up during income tax time. Do these single parents income tax, mostly single women with a bunch of kids, do their income tax, and then whatever these women are supposed to get back, they tell them it was half of what they were supposed to get back. So if they were supposed to get back $5,000, these pop-up income tax places tell them that they are only getting $2,500. Then these pop-up income tax places file these women's income tax. And then when the women get their checks and happy, then these pop-up income tax places go back into their computer and modify the income tax and change the address to where the second check is supposed to go to. And they find empty mailboxes. But I was told that most of the time they pay the mail carriers to just bring the checks to them. But because my husband's nephew worked at this pop-up income tax place, they knew I was straight-laced. At the time, I didn't know it because I thought my husband was a straight-up God-fearing man. Later on, I found that out. So that's why they didn't try to pay me for every check that came in, because they knew I was going to squeal like a pig. So to make a long story short, my husband's nephew and the cronies in the office that he worked with got busted. The postal inspectors busted them. And all that money they were stealing from low-income families, mostly single parents, they got busted for all of that, and they went to prison. And then the Postmaster General sent me an award for being a stand-up citizen and not just throwing the checks in the box and forgetting about it. Because I love my job at the post office. I was the city carrier. And I protected the people that I delivered mail for, so they didn't get away with it. So my husband knew that. Oh, and I got $98 too for doing all that work. That was my award and $98. But anyway, so my husband knows that I'm a stand-up girl. I have morals. I've always had morals. I keep me some morals. Because I knew I had to answer to God. So the reason I told you that little story is to let you know that I'm not the type of person that will try to steal from somebody, that will just lie on anybody. I got morals. As a matter of fact, all the other carriers said, oh, when they get out of prison, they're coming after you, Marguerite. They're going to get you for squealing on them. And I smiled and I laughed with them. You know why? Because I knew that I had God on my side. Because when you do right, God is with you. So I wasn't more worried about them people getting out of prison doing nothing to me than I'm worried about the man in the moon. Well, I guess this is all the story today. I did what the Lord told me to. He told me to squeal like a pig, oink, oink. Have a good day.